Tur 3. Test and verification. This section provides reference tables to check circuit voltage, resistance, and continuity for TMP 4100-series/400 marking systems. 3.1 Interface checks. The following sections provide pin assignments, signal names, signal descriptions, voltage, and resistance for the interface connectors on the back panel of the controller. Note: voltage measurements at the controller connectors are to be taken with the power on. 3.1.1 Host interface. The following illustration and table show the pin assignments for the controller's host connector. Table 3:1. Host connector pin assignments. Pin signal description. 1 not used. 2 TXDRS232 data from the controller. 3 RXDRS232 data to the controller. 4-6 not used. 7 GNDRS232 signal return ground. 8-9 not used. 10s RS485 bidirectional data internally jumpered to pin 12. 11s plus RS485 bidirectional data plus internally jumpered to pin 13. 12s RS485 bidirectional data. 13s plus RS485 bidirectional data plus 14 if using RS485 in a network. Pins 14 and 15 must be jumpered on the last controller in the network drop for proper network termination. 15 internally jumpered to pin 10 and to pin 12. 16-19 not used. 20 plus 5 VDC power for optional bar code scanner. 21-25 not used. Test and verification. 3-2. 3.1.2 Discrete I/O interface. The following illustrations and tables show pin assignments for the controller's discrete I/O interface. The input and output checks are to be taken with the I/O interface cable disconnected from the controller. Input checks are taken at the connector on the controller end of the interface cable. Output checks are to be taken at the I/O connector on the back of the controller. Note: all discrete I/O signals are to be checked in their on state. Table 3-2. I/O connector input checks. Pin 2 pin description voltage on state. 1-2 start print 12-24 VDC. 1-3 abort 12-24 VDC. 1-4 cell underbar 0 custom applications only. 1-5 cell underbar 1 custom applications only. 1-6 cell underbar 2 custom applications only. 1-7 cell underbar 3 custom applications only. Note: pin 1 is input common. Pin 8 not used. Table 3-3. I/O connector checks outputs. Pin 2 pin description resistance on state. 9-10 done 2 ohms maximum. 9-11 ready 2 ohms maximum. 9-12 spare out custom applications only. Note: pin 9 is input common. Pins 13, 14, 15 not used. TMP 4100 series/400 maintenance. 3-3. 3.1.3 TTL/O interface. The following illustration and table show pin assignments for the controller's TTL/O interface. The checks are to be taken with the TTL/O interface cable disconnected from the controller. The input checks are taken at the connector on the controller end of the interface cable. Note: all discrete I/O signals are to be checked in their on state. Table 3-4. TTL/O connector input checks. Pin 2 pin description resistance on state. 2-3 start print 10 ohms maximum. 2-4 abort 10 ohms maximum. Notes: pin 1 is reserved for telesis use only. Pin 2 is ground. Pins 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 not used. Test and verification. 3-4. 3.2 Resistance checks. The following information is provided to check the resistance values of the stepper motor circuit and the solenoid circuit. The checks are to be taken with the marking head cable disconnected from the controller. The resistance checks are taken at the connector on the end of the marking head cable. Note: resistance measurements are to be taken with power off. 3.2.1 Stepper motor resistance. Table 3-5 lists the resistance values for the stepper motor. These checks are made at the connector on the end of the marking head cable. Table 3-5. Stepper motor resistance checks. Resistance value. Pin 2 pin description. TMP 4100, TMP 4150, TMP 4100E. 1-2 X-axis motor phase a 2.0 ohms plus minus 10%, 2.0 ohms plus minus 10%, 2.0 ohms plus minus 10%. 3-4 X-axis motor phase B 2.0 ohms plus minus 10%, 2.0 ohms plus minus 10%, 2.0 ohms plus minus 10%. 5-6 Y-axis motor phase a 2.0 ohms plus minus 10%, 2.0 ohms plus minus 10%, 2.0 ohms plus minus 10%. 7-8 Y-axis motor phase B 2.0 ohms plus minus 10%, 2.0 ohms plus minus 10%, 2.0 ohms plus minus 10%. 3.2.2 Solenoid resistance. Table 3-6 lists the resistance values for the solenoid. These measurements are taken at the connector on the end of the marking head cable. Table 3-6. Solenoid resistance checks. Resistance value. Pin 2 pin description TMP 4100 TMP 4150 TMP 4100E 9 to 12 solenoid number 1 12 ohms plus minus 5% 38 ohms plus minus 5% 8.4 ohms plus minus 5% TMP 4100 series / 400 maintenance 3 to 5 3.3 Continuity checks. The following information is provided to check the continuity of the marking head extension cable if used. The checks are to be taken with the marking head extension cable disconnected from the controller and from the standard marking head cable. Table 3 to 7. Marking head extension cable pin assignments. From J1 to J2 function. 1x motor phase 1. 2x motor phase 2. 3x motor phase 3. 4x motor phase 4. 5y motor phase 1. 6y motor phase 2. 7y motor phase 3. 8y motor phase 4. 9 solenoid common. 10 solenoid common. 12 solenoid number 1 impact pin. TMP 4100 series markers. 13 solenoid number 2 impact pin. TMP 4100E only 14 solenoid number 3 impact pin. TMP 4100E only 15 solenoid number 4 not used / standard TMP 4100 series markers 16 solenoid number 5 not used / standard TMP 4100 series markers 17 solenoid number 6 not used / standard TMP 4100 series markers 20 plus 5 VDC return 21 plus 5 VDC 22 X home 25 Y home 28 start print plus 5 VDC return 29 start print plus 37 chassis ground test and verification 3 to 6. This page intentionally left blank. TMP 4100 series / 400 maintenance 4 to 1. Chapter 4 Maintenance procedures 4.1 Overview Maintenance procedures not explicitly contained in this manual must be performed by repair agencies authorized by Telesis Technologies, Inc. The following procedures may be performed by the system's owner / operator. Refer to the TMP 4100 series / 400 operators manual for details. Controller inlet fuses replacement. The following replacement procedures are provided in this chapter. Refer to the appropriate section in this manual for details. Impact pin / pin cartridge cleaning. Impact pin / pin cartridge replacement. Impact pin reconditioning marker. Standoff replacement. Marking head carriage. Rail cleaning. Solenoid valve replacement. Maintenance procedures 4 to 2. 4.2 Repair procedures. Authorized repairs to the TMP 4100 series / 400 marking systems are listed in the following paragraphs. Repair procedures not explicitly contained in this manual must be performed by repair agencies authorized by Telesis Technologies, Inc. 4.2.1 Impact pin reconditioning. Periodically, the tips of the impact pins will become dull and require reconditioning. Grind or replace the impact pins on a regular basis to prevent dull pins from producing an unsatisfactory mark. Pins should be reconditioned at the first sign of mark degradation or when the pin point becomes noticeably flattened. The length of service between reconditioning will depend on the pin material, the material being marked and the depth of the mark desired. Table 4 to 1 lists the lengths for new and reconditioned pins. The pin cone angle and length are illustrated in figure 4 to 1. Table 4 to 1. Impact pin lengths. Pin type new length minimum length. 25 XL TMP 4100. TMP 4100 52.49 in. 63.2 mm 2.43 in. 61.7 mm 150 S TMP 4100. TMP 4100 52.75 in. 69.9 mm 2.68 in. 68.1 mm 25 XL TMP 4100 E 1.77 in. 45.0 mm 1.70 in. 43.2 mm. Figure 4 to 1. Pin cone angle and length TMP 4100 series / 400 maintenance 4 to 3. The recommended grinding wheels for the various pin material are listed below. The minimum pin lengths allow for only about a 3% reduction in the total length during reconditioning. Therefore, only the smallest amount of material necessary to obtain a sharp point should be removed. Several small cuts should be taken, instead of larger ones, to avoid removing more material than necessary and to avoid overheating the pin. Pin material grinding wheel. Composite metal aluminum oxide pink 12A, best. Tungsten carbide silicone carbide green 39C. Warning. Read the material safety data sheets MSDS sheets included in the appendix of this manual. Prior to reconditioning pins to become familiar with reconditioning hazards, use the appropriate precautions, coolant, and abrasive for the pin material and the grinding techniques described in the MSDS. Always wear a respirator, safety glasses, and gloves when grinding metal. The following will assure properly reconditioned pins. 1. Remove the impact pin/pin cartridge from the marking head. See Procedure 2. Mount the pin in the fixture, making sure that the pin is supported near its point. This fixture must be capable of rotating the pin during the grinding operation. 3. Use the proper abrasive wheel for the pin material. 4. Coolant should be used. 5. Keep the abrasive wheel dressed for a straight conical shaped point on the pin. 6. Set the fixture to obtain the desired pin cone angle. 7. Grind the pin to a sharp point, while continually rotating the pin. 8. Make several light cuts to reduce chatter and keep the pin cool. This reduces pin material waste. Maintenance procedures. 4 to 4. 4.3 Cleaning procedures. Perform the following procedures to clean the marking head guide rods. 4.3.1 Impact pin/pin cartridge. Perform the following steps to clean the pin cartridge and impact pin. 1. Remove the impact pin/pin cartridge from the marking head. See Procedure 2. Clean the cartridge using isopropyl alcohol or dishwashing detergent and water. The pins may be cleaned with solvent, as long as they are wiped off completely and allowed to dry before being placed back into the cartridge. Do not use any petroleum-based solvent, paint thinners, or acetone. Do not use any oil for lubrication. 3. Install the impact pin/pin cartridge onto the marking head. See Procedure 4.3.2 Marking head rail. Perform the following steps to clean the carriage rail in the marking head. Caution. Ensure the controller power is removed before connecting or disconnecting the marker cable. The controller may be damaged if the cable is connected or disconnected with power on. 1. TMP 4100. TMP 4150. Remove all air pressure from the marking system. 2. Remove all electrical power from the marking system. 3. TMP 4150. Remove the marking head cover. A. Lift up on the tabs of the latches located on the sides of the marker. B. Rotate the tabs counterclockwise to loosen and disengage the latches. C. Slide the protective boot over the end of the cartridge. D. Slide the cover off the marker. 4. TMP 4100. TMP 4100E. Using a 2.5mm hex key, remove 4 screws securing right cover to left cover. 5. TMP 4100. TMP 4100E. Remove the 2 screws from the end of the standoff nearest the footpad. 6. TMP 4100. TMP 4100E. Separate covers and place right cover aside. 7. Moisten a clean, lint-free, soft cloth with isopropyl alcohol. 8. Carefully wipe any dirt or debris from the rail. 9. Apply a light coat of oil, e.g., 3-in-1 registered sign oil, to the rail. 10. TMP 4100. TMP 4100E. Align right cover with left cover and secure with 4 screws. 11. TMP 4100. TMP 4100E. Install 2 screws in end of the standoff nearest the footpad. 12. TMP 4150. Install the marking head cover. A. Slide the cover over the marker. B. Engage the latches and rotate the tabs clockwise to tighten. C. Push down on the tabs so they lay flat against the sides of the marker. D. Slide the protective boot up onto the cartridge. TMP 4100 Series/400 Maintenance. 4 to 5. 4.4 Replacement procedures. Authorized replacement of the TMP 4100/400 and TMP 4100E/400 marking systems components are listed in the following paragraphs. Component replacement procedures not explicitly contained in this manual must be performed by repair agencies authorized by Telesis Technologies, Inc. 4.4.1 Impact pin/pin cartridge. Follow the steps below to remove and replace the impact pin and or the pin cartridge assembly. Caution. The impact pin and pin cartridge do not require lubrication. The plastic pin cartridge may become obstructed if lubricated. Removal. 1. TMP 4100. TMP 4150. Remove all air pressure from the marking system. 2. Remove all electrical power from the marking system. 3. TMP 4150. Remove the marking head cover. A. Lift up on the tabs of the latches located on the sides of the marker. B. Rotate the tabs counterclockwise to loosen and disengage the latches. C. Slide the protective boot over the end of the cartridge. D. Slide the cover off the marker. 4. Remove 2 screws that secure the cartridge to the manifold. 5. Gently tip the pin cartridge, allowing the impact pin to slide from the open cartridge bore. 6. TMP 4100E. Remove the return spring from the pin cartridge. 7. If you are reusing the same cartridge, clean the cartridge bore with isopropyl alcohol. Use care to prevent contaminants from entering the bore. Installation. 1. TMP 4100E. Install the return spring on the small diameter of the impact pin. 2. Insert the impact pin into the cartridge bore. 3. Apply Vibratite to the 2 screws removed from the cartridge. Allow the Vibratite to dry before continuing. 4. TMP 4100. TMP 4150. Align the exhaust air port, slot/hole, of the pin cartridge with the machine notch in the manifold. 5. Press the cartridge into place and secure with the 2 screws. Tighten securely, but do not over-tighten. 6. TMP 4150. Install the marking head cover. A. Slide the cover off the marker. B. Engage the latches and rotate the tabs clockwise to tighten. C. Push down on the tabs so they lay flat against the sides of the marker. D. Slide the protective boot up onto the cartridge. Maintenance procedures. 4 to 6. 4.4.2 Marker standoff TMP 4100. TMP 4100E. Perform the following procedure to replace the standoffs mounted on the front of the TMP 4100 or TMP 4100E marking head. Caution: do not move the pin cartridge by hand. Internal components of the marking head may be damaged if improperly positioned. Use the system's jog feature or online command to reposition the pin cartridge. Removal. 1. Place the marker online or use the jog feature to move the pin cartridge to the left side of the marking window. 2. Using a 2mm hex key, remove the 2M3-0.50x10 flathead screws from the right side standoff side, opposite the pin cartridge location, and remove the standoff. Installation. 1. Install the new standoff on the right side of the marker. Secure with 2M3-0.50x10 flathead screws. 2. Use the jog feature to move the pin cartridge to the right side of the marking window. 3. Using a 2mm hex key, remove the 2M3-0.50x10 flathead screws from the left side standoff side, opposite the pin cartridge location, and remove the standoff. 4. Install the new standoff on the left side of the marker. Secure with 2M3-0.50x10 flathead screws. 4.4.3 Solenoid valve TMP 4100. Perform the following procedure to replace the TMP 4100 solenoid valve. Removal. 1. Remove all air pressure from the marking system. 2. Remove all electrical power from the marking system. 3. Remove the standoffs. See procedure 4. Using a 2.5mm hex key, remove 4M3-0.50x25 screws securing right cover to left cover. Separate covers and place right cover aside. 5. Using a 2mm hex key, loosen set screw and handle holding the push button switch. 6. Remove switch connector J2 from the limit board. 7. Remove the switch assembly from the handle. TMP 4100 series/400 maintenance. 4 to 7. 8. Using a 2.5mm hex key, loosen set screw securing the handle to the handle mount. Gently pry and pull handle from the mount. 9. Using a 3mm hex key, remove 2M4-0.70x16 socket head cap screws that secure the handle mount to the manifold base. 10. Remove the tubing from the bulkhead connector. 11. Remove cable connector J1 from the limit board and disconnect the ground lug. 12. Using a 2.5mm hex key, remove 3 flathead screws from the bottom of the left cover. 13. Remove the marking unit from the left cover and place left cover aside. 14. Remove the 2 solenoid wires, lugs from J6 and J7 on the limit board. 15. Using a 1.5mm hex key, remove 2 socket head cap screws from the solenoid valve and remove the solenoid valve from the marking unit. Installation 1. Install the new solenoid valve assembly. Ensure the gasket is properly positioned. 2. Route the solenoid wires toward the upper, back side of the X-axis motor and push the plugs onto limit board connectors J6 and J7. 3. Install the marking unit into left cover and secure with 3 flathead screws. 4. Connect the marking unit cable connector J2 to J1 on the limit board. 5. Attach the ground lug. 6. Connect tubing to bulkhead fitting. Do not kink the tubing. 7. Install the handle mount onto left cover with radius end of handle toward the back of the marker. Secure with 2M4-0.70x16 socket head cap screws. 8. Slide the handle onto the handle mount and tighten the set screw. 9. Install the push button switch assembly connector end first through the switch mounting hole. 10. Route the switch wires in and upward through the clearance hole toward the limit board. 11. Connect the switch wires to J2 on the limit board. 12. Secure the switch to the handle with a M3-0.50x3 set screw. 13. Lay the flex snap in the strain relief bushing on the cable assembly in the half hole in the back of the left cover with the tab facing down into the half hole. 14. While holding the bushing in place, lay the right cover on top. Ensure the push button wires are not pinched between the covers. 15. Secure the right cover with 4 M3-0.50x25 socket head cap screws. 16. Install the standoffs. See procedure, maintenance procedures. 4 to 8. 4.4.4 Solenoid valve TMP 4150. Perform the following procedure to replace the TMP 4150 solenoid valve. Removal. 1. Remove all air pressure from the marking system. 2. Remove all electrical power from the marking system. 3. Remove the marking head cover. A. Lift up on the tabs of the latches located on the sides of the marker. B. Rotate the tabs counterclockwise to loosen and disengage the latches. C. Slide the protective boot over the end of the cartridge. D. Slide the cover off the marker. 4. Remove the 2 solenoid wires, lugs from J6 and J7 on the limit board. 5. Using a 1.5mm hex key, remove 2 socket head cap screws from the solenoid valve and remove the solenoid valve from the marking unit. Installation 1. Install the new solenoid valve assembly. Ensure the gasket is properly positioned. 2. Route the solenoid wires toward the upper, backside of the X-axis motor and push the plugs onto limit board connectors J6 and J7. 3. Install the marking head cover. A. Slide the cover off the marker. B. Engage the latches and rotate the tabs clockwise to tighten. C. Push down on the tabs so they lay flat against the sides of the marker. D. Slide the protective boot up onto the cartridge. 4.4.5 Solenoid valve TMP 4100E. Perform the following procedure to replace the TMP 4100E solenoid valve. Removal. 1. Remove all electrical power from the marking system. 2. Remove the impact pin/pin cartridge from the marking head. See Procedure 3. Remove the standoffs. See Procedure 4. Using a 2.5mm hex key, remove 4M3-0.50x25 screws securing right cover to left cover. Separate covers and place right cover aside. 5. Using a 2mm hex key, loosen set screw and handle holding the push button switch. 6. Remove switch connector J2 from the limit board. 7. Remove the switch assembly from the handle. 8. Using a 2.5mm hex key, loosen set screw securing the handle to the handle mount. Gently pry and pull handle from the mount. TMP 4100 series/400 maintenance. 4 to 9. 9. Using a 3mm hex key, remove 2 M4-0.70x16 socket head cap screws that secure the handle mount to the manifold base. 10. Remove cable connector J1 from the limit board and disconnect the ground lug. 11. Using a 2.5mm hex key, remove 3 flathead screws from the bottom of the left cover. 12. Remove the marking unit from the left cover and place left cover aside. 13. Disconnect connectors on J6 and J7. 14. Remove 2 M3-05x6mm flathead cap screws from the electric pin. Remove the armature and shims. 15. Rotate the solenoid over the end leg. 16. Remove 2 M3-05x6mm flathead cap screws that secure the solenoid frame to the cartridge base. 17. Remove 2 nuts securing solenoid to the electric pin base. 18. Note wire routing and location of wire ties. Remove wire ties, as applicable, and remove solenoid. Installation. 1. Mount the solenoid to the electric pin base using the 2 nuts provided on the solenoid. 2. Thread the wires from the solenoid through the hole in the face of the cartridge base, leaving about 1/2 to 2 inches protruding from the face. 3. Place the solenoid frame on the face of the cartridge base with wires through the notches and on top. Align the screw holes and attach with 2 M3-05x6mm flathead cap screws. 4. Rotate the solenoid over the end of the leg so that wires are on either side of the top leg. Push the assembly down between the legs. Solenoid first. 5. Verify the armature and shims are in place prior to securing the solenoid. Align the holes and attach with 2 M3-05x6mm flathead cap screws. Caution: do not pull the wires through from the backside of the cartridge base. Doing so might strip insulation from the wires and short the solenoid drivers. 6. Push the wires from the front through the notches while taking up the slack from the back of the cartridge base until all slack is removed from the wires. 7. Route the wires down the side of the frame, opposite the cam, allowing enough wire with slight slack when the cartridge is at the cam side of the frame. 8. Place a wire tie around the frame and wires immediately ahead of the boss for the right side pulley as viewed from the top. Place a second wire tie around wires and through the frame's large rear hole. 9. Plug the wires into jacks J6 and J7. 10. Install the marking unit into left cover and secure with 3 flathead screws. Maintenance procedures. 4 to 10. 11. Connect the marking unit cable connector J2 to J1 on the limit board. 12. Attach the ground lug. 13. Install the handle mount onto left cover with radius end of handle toward the back of the marker. Secure with 2 M4-0.70x16 socket head cap screws. 14. Slide the handle onto the handle mount and tighten the set screw. 15. Install the push button switch assembly connector end first through the switch mounting hole. 16. Route the switch wires in and upward through the clearance hole toward the limit board. 17. Connect the switch wires to J2 on the limit board. 18. Secure the switch to the handle with a M3-0.50x3 set screw. 19. Lay the flex snap in the strain relief bushing on the cable assembly in the half hole in the back of the left Cover with the tab facing down into the half hole. 20. While holding the bushing in place, lay the right cover on top. Ensure the push button wires are not pinched between the covers. 21. Secure the right cover with 4M3-0.50x25 socket head cap screws. 22. Install the impact pin/pin cartridge onto the marking head. See procedure 23. Install the standoffs. See procedure TMP 4100 series/400 maintenance. 4 to 11. 4.5 Reference data. The following information will assist you in obtaining components to maintain the marking system. 4.5.1 Spare parts. Refer to the TMP 4100 series/400 operator's manual for a list of recommended spares. The manual also lists the available marking pins and pin cartridge assemblies that can be used with the TMP 4100 series marking heads. 4.5.2 Replacement parts. Refer to Table 4-2 for a list of replaceable components and their part numbers. Table 4-2. TMP 4100 series/400 replacement parts. Part No. Description. 30,953 marker standoff. TMP 4100. 30,942 marker standoff. TMP 4100E. 27,339 solenoid valve. TMP 4100E. 35,014 solenoid valve. TMP 4100. TMP 4150. 4.5.3 Ordering parts. If you need parts for the marking system, be sure to specify the TMP 4100 series model number and serial number when ordering. Contact the Telesis sales department at Telesis Technologies, Incorporated, 28181 River Drive, Circleville, Ohio 43113. Phone 800-654-5696 US and Canada 740-477-5000. Fax 740-477-5001. Maintenance procedures 4 to 12. This page intentionally left blank. TMP 4100 series/400 maintenance. A1. Appendix A. Material safety data sheets. This appendix contains material safety data sheets MSDS for carbide and steel impact pins. The impact pins are used by the TMP 4100 series/400 marking systems for imprinting messages into various materials. Read the MSDS sheets prior to reconditioning pins to become familiar with potential reconditioning hazards. Always wear a respirator, safety glasses, and gloves when grinding metal. Use the appropriate precautions, coolant, abrasive, and grinding techniques for the pin material as described in the material safety data sheets. Appendix A. A2. This page intentionally left blank. TMP 4100 series/400 maintenance. A3. Material safety data sheet. Carbide pins. 1. Product definition. Chemical name, trade name and synonyms. Cemented carbide product. All carbide grades. Chemical family, molecular weight. Refractory metal carbide varies with grade. 2. Hazardous ingredients. Material cast number percent by weight asterisk 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 OSHA Pel Agate TLV. Tungsten carbide 12070-1210-97%, 5 mg/m3, 5 mg/m3. Limits for water insoluble tungsten compounds 10 mg/m3 still, 10 mg/m3 still. Cobalt 7440-4840-30%, 0.05 mg/m3, 0.05 mg/m3. Nickel 7440-0200-20%, 1 mg/m3, 1 mg/m3. Tantalum carbide. Limits for tantalum metal dusts. 12070-0630-55%, 5 mg/m3, 5 mg/m3. Molybdenum. Limits for insoluble molybdenum compounds. 12069-8950-15%, 10 mg/m3 asterisk 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 10 mg/m3. Chromium carbide CR3C2. Limits for chromium 3 compounds as CR 120123500-5%, 0.5 mg/m3, 0.5 mg/m3. This product contains substances which are subject to the reporting requirements of Section 313 of Title III of the Superfund Amendments and Reauthorization Act of 1986 and 40 CFR Part 372. During normal usage, cemented carbide products do not present inhalation, ingestion or other chemical hazards of any kind. Wet or dry grinding of these products may release dusts of potentially hazardous ingredients which can be inhaled, swallowed, or come in contact with skin and eyes. During wet grind, the dust can be suspended or dissolved in the coolant mist. 3. Physical data. physical state, solid pH, / a boiling point, / a asterisk specific gravity H2O -1, 5.0 -15.0 freezing point, / a odor threshold, / a vapor pressure, / a percent volatile by volume, 0 vapor density, / a evaporation rate, / a water solubility, insoluble coefficient of water / oil distribution, Ni *** appearance and odor, dark gray metal / odorless appendix A. A4. 4. Fire and explosion hazard data, flashpoint, / a test method used, underbar auto ignition temperature, / a hard cemented carbide product is not a fire hazard. Dusts generated in grinding operations may ignite if allowed to accumulate and are subjected to an ignition source. Flammable limits, / a LEL, extinguishing media for powder fires. Smother with dry sand, dry dolomite. ABC type fire extinguisher or flood with water. Special firefighting procedures for a powder fire confined to a small area. Use a respirator approved for toxic dusts and fumes. For a large fire, firefighters should use self-contained breathing apparatus. Unusual fire and explosion hazards. Dusts may present a fire or explosion hazard when exposed to high temperature or ignition sources. However, this is not expected to be a problem under normal handling conditions. Hazardous combustion products may generate toxic fumes when heated. 5. Health hazard data, routes of exposure, X skin contact and / a skin absorption X eye contact, X acute inhalation X chronic inhalation X ingestion, effects of exposure, X carcinogenicity X NTP X ER, / a other X sensitization / a teratogenicity / a mutagenicity / a reproductive toxicity / a synergistic materials. Inhalation dusts or mists can cause irritation of the nose and throat. Inhalation can result in an allergic reaction in individuals previously sensitized, causing difficult breathing. Dusts or mists also have the potential for causing transient or permanent respiratory disease, including occupational asthma and interstitial fibrosis in a small percentage of exposed individuals. Symptoms include productive cough, wheezing, shortness of breath, chest tightness and weight loss. Nickel is suspected of causing nasal and lung cancer. Symptoms include pain, bleeding, nasal obstruction, vision impairment, weight loss and voice resonance change. Skin contact can cause irritation or an allergic skin rash due to chromium, cobalt, or nickel sensitization in people susceptible to allergic reactions. Eye contact can cause irritation or conjunctivitis. Ingestion of large amounts of cobalt over a period of time has the potential for causing blood, heart, and other organ problems. Current scientific information indicates no adverse effects are likely from ingestion of small amounts of nickel dust generated from these products. TMP 4100 series /400 maintenance. A5. 5. Health hazard data continued. Carcinogenicity. The National Toxicology Program NTP found there was sufficient evidence of carcinogenicity of nickel in experimental animals and limited evidence for the carcinogenicity of nickel in humans. The International Agency for Research on Cancer (EARC) found there was inadequate evidence that metallic cobalt and metallic nickel are carcinogenic to humans. But since there was sufficient evidence that they carcinogenic to animals, EARC concluded that metallic cobalt and metallic nickel are possibly carcinogenic to humans. EARC and NTP found there was inadequate data for the carcinogenicity of chromium and trivalent chromium compounds. Cobalt has not been classified as a known or suspected carcinogen by NTP or OSHA. Nickel and chromium have not been classified as a known or suspected carcinogen by OSHA. Conditions aggravated by exposure. Lung and other pulmonary and skin conditions may be aggravated by exposure. Emergency and first aid procedures. Inhalation if symptoms of pulmonary involvement develop coughing, wheezing, shortness of breath, etc. Remove from exposure and seek medical attention. Skin contact if irritation or rash occurs. Thoroughly wash affected area with soap and water and isolate from exposure. If irritation or rash persists, seek medical attention. Eye contact if irritation occurs. Flush with large amounts of water. If irritation persists, seek medical attention. Ingestion if substantial quantities are swallowed. Dilute with a large amount of water. Induce vomiting and seek medical attention. 6. Reactivity data. Stability, unstable X stable. Hazardous polymerization may occur X will not occur. Incompatibility, contact of dust with strong oxidizers may cause fire or explosions. Materials to avoid, strong acids and oxidizers. Hazardous decomposition products. Thermal decomposition may release tungsten carbide, cobalt, and nickel metallic oxides. Conditions to avoid, /A. 7. Spill or leak procedures. Steps to be taken in case material is released or spilled. Ventilate area of spill. Clean up using methods which avoid dust generation, such as vacuum with appropriate filter to prevent airborne dust levels which exceed the PEL or TLV. Wet dust mop or wet cleanup. If airborne dust is generated, use an appropriate NIOSH-approved respirator. Waste disposal method, dispose of in accordance with appropriate government regulations. May be sold as scrap for reclaim. Appendix A, A6, 8. Special protection information. Respiratory protection. Use an appropriate NIOSH-approved respirator if airborne. Dust concentrations exceed the appropriate PEL or TLV. All appropriate requirements set forth in 29 CFR 1910.134 should be met. Ventilation. Use local exhaust ventilation which is adequate to limit personal exposure to airborne dust to levels which do not exceed the PEL or TLV. Protective gloves. Protective gloves or barrier cream are recommended when contact with dust or mist is likely. Prior to applying the barrier cream or use of protective gloves, wash thoroughly. Eye protection. Safety glasses with side shields or goggles are recommended. Other protective equipment /A. 9. Special precautions. Precautions to be taken in handling and storage. Maintain good housekeeping procedures to prevent dust accumulation during grinding. Avoid inhalation and direct skin contact with dust. Other precautions. Clean up using methods which avoid dust generation, such as vacuum with appropriate filter to prevent airborne dust levels which exceed PEL or TLV. Wet dust mop or wet cleanup. If airborne dust is generated, use an appropriate NIOSH-approved respirator. Wash hands thoroughly after handling, before eating or smoking. Wash exposed skin and remove soiled clothing at the end of work shift. Do not shake clothing, rags or other items to remove dust. Dust should be removed by washing or vacuuming with appropriate filters the clothing, rags, or other items. Periodic medical examinations are recommended for individuals regularly exposed to dust or mist. For chemical emergency spill, leak, fire, exposure, or accident, call Chemtrick Day or Night 1-800-424-9300. 10. Additional information. In case of questions, please call. Issue date July 1992. Telesis Technologies, Inc. Customer service supersedes September 1991-800-654-5696 US and Canada or 740-477-5000. Ask for customer service 740-477-5001 fax. Although Telesis has attempted to provide accurate information herein, Telesis makes no representation regarding the accuracy or completeness of the information and assumes no liability for any loss, damage or injury of any kind, which may result from, or arise out of the use of or reliance on the information by any person. Legend. */A equals not applicable *****, depends on grade specification ****, NI equals not established *****, total dust. Number 15-00-605 TMP 4100 series /400 maintenance. A7. Material safety data sheet. Steel pins. 1. Product definition. Steel pins date of preparation, November 1st, 1985. Product name. A supplemental chemistry sheet will be issued for each grade shipped to each customer. See Section 2. 2. Hazardous ingredients. Material cast number. Aluminum Al7429-90, 5 manganese Mn7439-96, 5. Carbon C7440-440, molybdenum Mo7439-98, 7. Chromium Cr7440-47, 3 nickel Ni7440-02, 0. Cobalt Co7440-48, 4 selenium C7782-49, 2. Columbium Cb March 1st 7440 silicon C7440-21, 3 niobium Nb Sin with Cb, titanium T7440-32, 6 copper Cu 7440-50, 8 tungsten 7440-33, 7 iron Fe 7439-89, 6 vanadium 7440-62, 2. No threshold limit values TLVs exist for specialty steels. TLV may be applicable to constituent elements. A supplemental chemistry sheet will be sent covering each grade or type of steel purchased. It will have the maximum level of each element that is present and required to be reported by OSHA Hazard Communication, Standard 29 CFR 1910.1200. See Appendix A for the permissible exposure limits as determined by OSHA, agate, and / or idle for each component. 3. Physical data. physical state, solid pH, / a boiling point, 686 to 5660 degrees, C specific gravity, 1.8 minus 19.3 freezing point, / a odor threshold, / a vapor pressure, / a percent volatile by volume, / a vapor density, / a evaporation rate, / a water solubility, insoluble except manganese, coefficient of water / oil distribution, / a appearance and odor, solid. Odorless metal melting point, February 17, 3410 degrees C. See Appendix A, Chemical and Physical Properties. For additional data if any, for each element. Appendix A, A8. 4. Fire and explosion hazard data. Flashpoint, none. Firepoint, none. This product is a non-combustible metal. See Appendix A for any applicable fire and explosion data for each element. 5. Health hazard data. A. General comments: we do not consider this product in the form it is sold to constitute a physical hazard or a health hazard. Subsequent operations, such as heating above 1200 degrees F, cutting, and / or grinding, may cause some of the ingredients to change to a form which could affect exposed workers. Routes of exposure: X skin contact and / a skin absorption, X eye contact, X acute inhalation, X chronic inhalation, X ingestion. Emergency first aid: inhalation, remove to fresh air. If condition continues, consult physician. Eye contact: flush well with running water to remove particulate. Seek medical attention. Skin contact: brush off excess dirt. Wash area well with soap and water. Ingestion: seek medical attention if large quantities of material have been ingested. Ingestion of significant amounts of metal is unlikely. B. Constituent hazards. See Appendix A. Permissible exposure limits. For the threshold limit values TLVS for each constituent. Effects of overexposure. Acute exposure: excessive inhalation of fumes from many metals can produce an acute reaction known as metal fume fever. Though metals such as copper and zinc have been most associated with metal fume fever, it is suspected by some authorities that other metallic fumes may produce this condition. Symptoms consist of chills and fever very similar to, and easily confused with, flu symptoms, which come on a few hours after exposure. Long-term effects of metal fume fever have not been noted. Chronic exposure: excessive and repeated inhalation of chromium fumes or dust may cause severe irritation, ulceration, or cancer in the respiratory system, nose, throat, and lungs. It is generally believed that the hexavalent forms of chromium Cr+6 are responsible for these effects. Similarly, excessive inhalation of nickel fumes has been associated with respiratory cancer. Both chromium and nickel are sensitizers and may cause allergic reactions. Excessive and prolonged inhalation of manganese, generally over 2 years of exposure, can cause damage to the central nervous system specifically. The pathology resembles Parkinson's disease. Molybdenum is not foreseen as a hazard in the present context, though molybdenum has caused toxicity. Toxicity, anemia, and poor growth in farm animals. There is no documented toxicity to humans due to industrial exposures. TMP 4100 series /400 maintenance. A9. 6. Reactivity data. Stability: unstable X stable. Hazardous polymerization may occur, X will not occur. Incompatibility: reacts with strong acids to generate hydrogen gas. Materials to avoid: strong acids and oxidizers. Hazardous decomposition products: metallic oxides. Conditions to avoid generation of airborne dust and fumes. 7. Spill or leak procedures. Steps to be taken in case of release or spill, /A. Special precautions: use good housekeeping practices to prevent accumulations of dust and to keep airborne dust concentrations at a minimum. Waste disposal method: dust, etc. Follow federal, state, and local regulations regarding disposal. See Appendix A. Handling procedures. For additional data if any, for each element. 8. Special protection information. Ventilation requirements: use general or local exhaust ventilation to keep airborne concentrations of dust and fumes below the TLV. Consult a professional hygienist. Respiratory protection: if fumes, misting, or dust conditions occur, consult a professional hygienist. Provide NIOSH-approved respirators. Gloves and barrier creams may be necessary to prevent skin sensitization and dermatitis. Personal protective equipment: always consult a professional hygienist. Eye protection: safety glasses should always be worn when grinding or cutting. Face shields should be worn when welding or burning. Other clothing or equipment as required. Appendix A. A10. 9. Emergency first aid information. If acute overexposure to fumes occurs, remove the victim to fresh air, then seek medical assistance. See Section 5. Health hazard data. Part A. General comments. For details. 10. Additional information. In case of questions, please call Telesis Technologies, Inc. Customer service 800-654-5696 US and Canada or 740-477-5000. Ask for customer service 740-477-5001 fax. Although telesis has attempted to provide accurate information herein, telesis makes no representation regarding the accuracy or completeness of the information and assumes no liability for any loss, damage or injury of any kind, which may result from, or arise out of the use of or reliance on the information by any person.